I see my jobs here as threefold. First, I'm going to keep it short. Second, I'm going to tell a couple stories about my sweet sister. And third, I'm going to send my best wishes to the couple. So in the name of keeping it short, I'll jump straight into my second job, which is some stories about sisterhood. I'm the older sister, which means there was a lot I had to teach Katie about the world. Never mind that I'm only 20 months older, and Katie has always been stronger than me. I took my job very seriously to make sure I showed her all the important things about life. For instance, I taught Katie a lot of games. There was Tree, a card game where the rules would shift so I would always win. There was Trusty Crutches, a game where I'd lay on my back and put my feet in the air, and she'd pretend my legs were crutches until I decided to pull them away so she'd fall on the ground. It's like really classic big sister stuff, like super important stuff for Katie to know. Katie would get so mad, but she would always come back to keep playing. Another thing I taught Katie is that big sisters should always have a corner in their little sister's room. For some reason, she believed me, so we taped off a tiny area where I could hang out whenever I wanted. Katie didn't want me in her room whenever I wanted, but I told her it was mandatory and she did not have a choice. I loved to be near her, and even though she acted like she didn't want me there, she never pushed back too hard. And eventually, she even requested her own corner in my room, where she'd show up if I didn't come visit her for too long. The moral of the story is that Katie is so loyal. She always shows up, and if you're in your life, she won't. If I'm in your life, if you're in Katie's life,
got it, nailed it.
She won't let you go. Katie has always stuck by my side, and today she promised to always stick by PJ's side. Which brings me to my third job, which is my best wishes for the couple. So my first wish is that you two always grow together. Life never stops changing, and neither do we. And so whatever life throws at you, I hope it's an opportunity to grow closer and understand one another better. And my second wish is that you always find home in one another, whether you need a partner for a prank or someone to find calm in a storm. I hope you can turn to each other and find exactly what you need. And my third wish is a happy life full of things you love, just family, community, and a really good party. You two are so hospitable. You're some of the most generous people I've ever met, and you know how to have fun. I'm grateful to be part of your good time today, and I hope you can carry the love you feel today from all these people far into the future. So let's raise a glass to Katie and PJ. Cheers to many more good times. On to the best man.
Nice job.
Good one. Nice start. Good start. Thanks, Samra. Thanks, Samra. Well, thanks, Samra. Well, thanks, Samra. Oh, wait. Hold on.
I was told I
Corey,
was the best man
yesterday.
yesterday at 5 p.m. That's because that's the case. That's what happened. But anyway, here we are. So PJ and I's friendship actually began here about 10 years ago at Bar Harbor. PJ hired me. And the reality is, PJ taught me everything I know about this very unforgiving industry that we call home. And then we spent the next 4 years together where I'd walk around and find PJ pounding chocolate milks in coolers like they were water, snacking on ice creams in the office. Hard work we did here, really hard work. But we grew very close as friends, and I owe a lot to PJ and my personal success. He taught me everything I know, like I said. I owe a lot to you. I love you guys. I hope everything works out for you. I know it will. I love you, Katie. You're Katie, you're an absolute angel, honey. You're an absolute angel. I love you guys. Cheers. Yeah. Let's fucking party.
Hello, I'm Rick, father of the bride. Let him kiss me. I'm kind of a shy guy, so I'm not going to have a lot to say, but one thing I do, I'm going to start off a little serious here as I'm looking at my buddy PJ. I'm not a good guy to give advice on relationships because I'm probably not the best at it myself, but I guess one thing I always think about through life is I think of marriage as a furnace.
What?
Now listen to this, it's profound.
I like where this is going. Stay with me.
Remember before they had electronic ignition and you had to keep that pilot light going all the time? Believe me, there's going to be times, remember when you first met that woman and you could hardly, you just got shivers down your back the minute you called her, both of you. You couldn't keep your hands off each other, and that pilot light was just burning so hot, it was unbelievable. I just want you to know there's going to be times when it comes to the flicker, I mean, really a flicker. And what I always do at that point is I reach deep, and you have to go back and think about those times that was so beautiful, and you think, they could come back. I mean, you have to try to keep that alive, okay? So, PJ, I'm serious. That's what I want. Okay. Then as far as Katie goes, I was always thinking there was a couple things that I wanted her to learn when she came along. I had my first girl came, Tara, and then I thought, maybe I'll get a boy for the second one. Well, guess what? It was Katie, and I thought, here comes the boy. Okay. So I thought there's a couple things I have to teach her. I wanted her to love the outdoors because I loved fishing and I loved hunting, and I wanted her to have that true love. So I taught her how to build fires. When she was a little girl, I set her on the counter and she watched me fillet fish as they were flopping because I wanted her to be tough, understand this is what you got to do. She turned out loving fish. She loved venison. She loved all of that. She made me very proud. I'd take her fishing, and we'd get about 30 crappies in 15 minutes. I had to cut her off. She wanted to empty the lake. The other thing is I thought I have to teach my daughter a sense of humor. That's very important, especially with living with me. you have to have a sense of humor. So we used to go to Fleet Farm, my favorite store. I always told them if you couldn't find it at Fleet Farm, you may as well not go shopping. This is when the Mills used to own it. So we used to go inside fish houses in the winter time, and we'd sit inside the fish houses, all three of us. And when the customer came, usually the old people, they came to flip up that fish house to see what was in there, and we'd step on that iron, that wood, that metal piece, so they couldn't get it up, and they kept pulling and pulling. Then once they pulled it up, we'd all just yell, We never killed anybody, but I think we came real close. Yeah, we had some wonderful times together, and Katie, you're a wonderful girl. I love you so much, and I just figure everybody says, well, how did you come up with two beautiful girls like that are so perfect? And I says, you know what I think it is? It's two imperfect people make a perfect child. Now the other thing, I got one more thing to say. And this is, but as long as you bring it up, PJ, I have one more thing to say. I remember the day Katie told me about this new guy, because I wasn't real impressed with a lot of her boyfriends, but she kind of was real gentle when she told me about this and said, Dad, now this guy's a little bit older. I go, okay, how old? So she starts telling me, so finally she works up the guts to bring PJ over to my house. You know, and I'm the kind of guy that used to, when she brought boyfriends over, the first thing I did is show them my gun collection. You know, because I just want to know. Well, so PJ comes over immediately. I'll have to admit, I was very suspicious of this guy. I didn't know what to think at that point, but now that I've gotten to know him, he's like this hard ass that has got the softest inside I've ever seen in my life. And I appreciate you showing me that, PJ. I love you both very much, and I'm sure you're going to have a great marriage. That's all I can say. And I did cry a little bit when I went up there too, PJ. Love you all. Thanks for coming.
Well done, Rick. You do, hon.